Okay, it appears we are live. Thanks for joining me today on the Sunday. Prepared a couple of backing tracks today. I'm pulling from iReal Pro. I exported a couple MIDI tracks, and then I'm going to be using the drums. I will be using Superior Drummer for that. So I have a couple tunes prepared for us today. What is this thing called Love? And Wave. All right, so let's just double check everything's good. Thanks for joining, Randy Harris. I will update my exclusive updates here very soon. So yeah, let's start with some playing. On how about, what is this thing called Love? All right, folks, so jamming a little there on What Is This Thing Called Love by Cole Porter. Thanks for joining me today. Cole Porter tunes are, in general, are really a lot of fun to play around with, and you get this really kind of cool mixture of minor and major, so you kind of have your maybe typical like dominant, predominant to the major. So kind of mixing that up. It's just kind of a cool and fun to work with kind of progression. And then, right, so you can take like even a G augmented triad, and then this can push up to that third there. So thanks for joining me today. Gonna play a little bit with some backing tracks here, do some improvisation, and talk a little bit about what's going on. I just released Sissy Strut guitar lesson video yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed putting together the drum backing track, although programming the drums is kind of tedious, so I should learn to play drums. But anyway, not there right now. And but it's just kind of cool, doing that sort of funky thing. And usually I rehearse, or not rehearse, but I do rehearse a little bit ahead of time. But I research, some of these tunes, and found, the meters, they've got, some recordings, obviously, but also they have some interviews and things on YouTube. So that was kind of cool, because I always really try to get things really accurate, and that's one of my big goals for my Learn Tunes playlist, is to have really nice solid references for folks to learn tunes, and kind of get the correct thing. So I do research quite a bit ahead of time. So, but there was even some mention, like I watched a bass video, Scott's Bass Lessons. Check him out. Him interviewing the bassist. I forgot his name right now, but and him explaining the riff and everything. So that was pretty cool. All right, well, grab a coffee or tea, whatever you're having. I'm having a little kind of espresso. Probably not technically espresso, but it's kind of a small, strong coffee. So some chord voicings that could be really fun. I didn't play any chord voicings there on that, but working with G minor 7 flat 5. Here's a really cool kind of thing that you can do. If you have a G minor 7 flat 5, and let's say you're going to C7, you can move that up 3 frets, same voicing. So it's kind of a freebie there. And so you end up with an augmented chord with a flat 9. And then you can resolve over to G or F minor 6. And of course you can play some, kind of rootless voicings. Let's see if I can go through here and maybe mute the piano, and show you what that would kind of sound like. Maybe I'll slow things down a little bit. This is one of the advantages of using kind of MIDI is you can kind of slow it down and speed it up. So let me show you what that would kind of sound like. Let's try that again. And then you could do really very similar things with the next part of the progression. You can play like this and go. Let's see what that sounds like. I'll just kind of start again from the beginning. So it's kind of a cool technique. Take something that you're already using on the a D minor 7 flat 5, and then take it up 3 frets for the dominant, and then go down and maybe resolve it down, playing C major 7 right there. All right, Simone first thing says, gives me a thumbs up, appreciate it. All right, thanks for joining. Got a hello from SSPZ6ZB. Thanks for joining me today. All right, well maybe we'll play a little more on this tune, and yeah, maybe we'll do a little more with some of the voicings and those things. Let me know if you see or hear anything that is of interest to you. So yeah, just playing around there a little bit with a few voicings and mixing things up. And one thing that we've been talking about on my website, FretPrince.com, recently is the concept of plurality. And so if you have a chord like you end up on F minor 6, and then the next chord is D minor 7 flat 5, it's really, you could use the same voicing, right? So, I mean, it's at least an option. So, right, so we've got this low F. This is a good way to test out your voicings. Have a 4-note voicing and then tap the bass note, get into kind of what it sounds like there. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Sissy Strut. Playing on that one, if you've got a C7, you can do some kind of scratching and scraping and muting. And this is another thing, if something repeats quite a lot on one chord, it's nice to have some inversions handy, you know, so you can play maybe C7 up here. You know, do a little with that, and just kind of move around. So anything with a 9, you might notice you have C9. You can use this voicing, which is the kind of an E minor 7 flat 5 over the C. So any inversion of that you can use around the neck, and then you can, you know, play a little more around the neck and add some motion and variety, even while the chord stays the same. All right, folks. Another tune I got prepped up here is Wave. So we'll maybe take a little minute to play on that as well. So I hope everything's coming through okay, and the balance is all right. All right, let's find a decent tempo here. Really hard for me to see it, but should probably tap it in there. Hey, Jeffrey, it's good to see you. All right, we'll see what happens with this. All right, well, a little bit of wave there. I forgot to turn the keyboards back on, but I turned it on midway and then it was a little too low in the mix, but that's okay. So yeah, it's something I've been working towards here for a while, is to do these live improv things on the internet, with some rhythm section, so which makes it kind of an opportunity to play single lines quite a bit, and for folks to kind of get the context underneath. Joshua M. Guitar, thanks for joining in on our live stream here. Love the guitar. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's a nice instrument. I've been enjoying it for a while. It's a pretty versatile type thing. So could play big band gig, which I'll be playing a gig in a couple of weeks, with a full 20-piece set. But I can play a little. Been doing some church gigs recently. Use it on that, whether it's that one is quite a variety of tunes, funky tunes and rock tunes and folk tunes, and it just kind of does a lot. Although there was one tune had the kind of a classical-ish, opening to it. So I brought my nylon string for that. So it doesn't cover everything, but it's a nice versatile instrument. So so Joshua asks, am I a full-time musician? Yes, I'm a full-time musician. So yeah, yeah, I really like this instrument. It's been good. So anything, if you're looking for an instrument, folks out there, the semi-hollow body is a nice all-around instrument. So although sometimes I do play a little bit on hollow body guitar. So Wave is a really kind of cool tune. If you take a chord like this, you have this B flat diminished. Yeah, that's kind of related to. You can relate that to a 2/5 that sits. So the chord kind of sits in between, like a E minor 7 flat 5 and A 7. So you can always like build that into your lines. And then when you go to your next change, so it's really a nice little movement. There's a lot of motion in this this tune. And then that minor kind of thing is just fun, to sit on that a little bit. Some things I've got going on in the future. I'm putting together something for Nika's Dream. Not sure whether that's going to come out this Saturday or maybe next or somewhere in the future. So I want to do something that incorporates some chord melody with it. So I think that will, will be appealing, to folks. But there are a lot of sections and different things. So I've been considering, various fingerings and chord shapes for that. It's also not the friendliest key for the guitar, but ultimately we want to be able to play in all 12 keys, of course. But yeah, even still, it kind of it's a little bit of a tricky tune. So I got thinking about that around New Year's. We had this Smalls self-taught legend event that happened. I think a lot of folks talked about that. I think Jeffrey, you were mentioning that to me, or somebody was mentioning that to me on the live stream, and I thought, okay, I'll check it out. So I actually ended up watching like the whole thing, as I was working on other stuff. So then I put a follow-up video on some things to consider. But anyway, getting into a long story here. But Nika's Dream was the one tune that they didn't give him a solo on, which that's totally fine. I wouldn't, I don't know, I wouldn't be totally offended in his shoes, but he was pretty upset about it. But if you kind of don't know a tune, and I think it was clear at the beginning that he didn't know the tune, probably would want to not solo it on it anyway, unless it was something real basic like a blues. But a tune like Nika's Dream it's a little bit involved. So it's a great tune. Horace Silver tunes are really great. I think I've done a few of his. Lonely Woman, I believe that's on the channel somewhere. That's a really nice ballad. Then what else? Song for My Father. So I've done a couple on that one. I think I did an updated video on that not too long ago. So that's a cool one too. Okay, folks. Thanks for joining me today. Yeah, I'm really excited about the channel. I've been trying to get more content out, so I've been doing a midweek video. I plan to do another one of those here soon. Let me double check and make sure I'm not missing any comments, because I am streaming on Substack. And how do I get into this? And so Substack, they just added live streaming for me, which is nice, but it's a little bit hard to find. Once you start streaming, it's like it disappears and you can't see where the comments are. So always having to figure out how to get to it. This actually has some views, which is good because it's kind of a new thing. So yeah, it just sort of like dumps you off, and then you have to go find it again, which I've done before. But anyway, I hope I'm not missing anybody. But once I click into it, anyway, getting distracted. But yeah, I hope they change that at some point. All right, let's maybe play a little more on a tune or two. Jeffrey says Eric Watts explained what happened in an interview about what happens at Smalls. Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. I think just this past week. That was really good. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, and I think he is the one who runs that particular jam, and yeah, he was setting the record straight a bit. And one thing is that the the self-taught legend. I'm not sure his name, but he was kind of getting into it with one of the customers, and it wasn't so much another musician. So what you hear on the audio is can be a little bit misleading. It's easy to assume that you're hearing somebody who was maybe in the camera shot who's now off camera or something, and so there are folks at a bar or whatever, and they're listening. They never make it onto the camera, so you definitely don't want to be getting into it with customers and stuff. So I mean, I think that it's cool that he's passionate about guitar, but you gotta direct it, and you gotta have some basic courtesy and stuff. So he's dealing with some personal challenges, I think, but don't we all? I don't know. Maybe some more than others. All right, folks. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting too. He's talking about some of his recordings that he's been doing, and yeah, I really had a good time listening to that interview, and to get the perspective from someone directly into it too. And I think in my video reaction, I mentioned a little bit about having these really good musicians, and then the club owner. I don't know what the situation is, but they might own the place or might rent it. I don't know, but everything is it's put out there, and it's people are making an effort to travel to that gig, and they've had a lot of experience. The club owners put a lot of effort into it, so you gotta have a little respect for the situation. That's my opinion. All right, folks, maybe I'll play a little more on this tune. We'll just change up the tempo slightly, and yeah, and just do a little jamming on wave here. So wonderful progression. another really fun one to play around with. Another thing I was just kind of considering that might be kind of cool to talk about is to use diminished arpeggios in a couple of spots. I guess this would be an obvious candidate. B flat, diminished 7. But you can also apply that to dominant 7ths, very similar kind of thing. So, if you go from A minor 7 to D7 flat 9, then you can play off that flat 9 in minor thirds and play all diminished 7. So that's kind of a cool thing. Flat 9s are really great on dominant chords. You might have heard me play a lot on that with this tune and what is this thing called, Love? So pretty cool, technique to use, sound to use. So speaking of smalls and all that, I am really trying to keep up with some current events in jazz and guitar, and trying to keep it positive, of course. But if you have anything that you're kind of interested in, I'd love to hear about it, and I can feature some things in our midweek video. And kind of my format there is to do a little improv at the beginning on a tune and chat a little bit about maybe something related, and maybe do a little rundown on some things that I'm doing. So would really love to get to know folks more, and also where your interests are. Also, I'm kind of a little bit in the dark sometimes as to where folks are. I think some folks play gigs already. Who knows? Some may be full time. I don't know. Some are hobbyists. So kind of maybe let me know or send a link to some of your playing. That would be really cool. So yeah, that's kind of part of the thing too on the live stream and my new midweek series. So be sure to check that out. Be sure that you're subscribed. I can give my take on some things and my experience, but we can learn from each other. Sometimes folks ask something, I think, well, I better investigate that a little bit, like the Barry Harris method, which is really compelling, really cool. Cat's Music Journey asks, flat 9 over dominant chords, so can you use them over 12-bar blues? So one thing I would do in that respect is maybe play them as you're getting closer to making a change, right? So I wouldn't really overuse them so much as on like static type chords. So if you had a B flat blues, you might stick to natural 9s. But then when you get kind of closer, you might, right? Then it kind of sounds like it works. So but yeah, I wouldn't just like hang out on a dominant 7th chord and just kind of play flat 9s unless that's like the sound that you're going for at that moment. But it's definitely as you get closer to moving to a change, which is that like 5-1 kind of thing, because it's funny, B flat, let's say B flat blues. This is what would be considered like what's called a static dominant. And then your mindset might switch to what's called a functional dominant, where you're actually like really trying to do a 5 of the 4 chord, you know, right? So that's where you could do really a lot of cool things, which could include the flat 9, which is even play E7, you know. So if you had, you can just go on for a few measures. Right. Then you're just trying to pull it over to that, you know, to that E flat. So you can do that melodically and harmonically. So I don't mean to elude your question or have an elusive answer, but that I would say is the approach I would recommend taking. So same thing that goes with the 5 chord. You know, sometimes the 5 chord goes down to the 4 chord. So in that case, I wouldn't recommend really using the flat 9 at that, you know, at that kind of moment. But if you have like a 2, 5, and then you're just like one beat before, you know, it makes sense, you know, to kind of incorporate the flat 9 of the F chord. Yeah, right close to the change. Yeah, especially if it's a 13 ninth chord. Got it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that generally works a lot. You know, you can use sharp 9s and flat 9s, more and more altered as you get real close to that chord change. Just gives it a little extra push over to the chord you're moving to. So, you know, as long as it's like a 5-1 kind of motion. All right, folks, I had a lot of fun today. It's really encouraging to get all the comments and questions and hellos and stuff, so much appreciated. Maybe I'll do one more playing segment here. Maybe we'll go back to what is this thing called love. Ways to support the channel: well, subscribe, like this very video. I do have some mugs and PDFs and stuff in my store, stuff like that. And check out our member area on fretprints.com. We're doing a lot of fun things there. Additional live streams, sound slice, exercises, embedded PDFs with printout options, and much more. This is the F Dorian. I was thinking maybe I'll put, I don't know if it'll focus. I was thinking about putting maybe some different scales and stuff on there, options, but I've only got the F Dorian right now. All right, well, let's play one more time and then call it a day for today. Let's see if I can get back to where I was. And vision isn't what it used to be. Let's try to go a little faster here. folks, thanks so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. If you watch this after doing a replay, please like and comment and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Have a great practice session. And enjoy your week. Check out my midweek video. And if you have anything you'd like featured in that, I would love to hear about it. All right, see you in the next one.